everyone, good morning. You've tuned into Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Mubina Kapasi and this is the show where we are going to be highlighting the big movers and shakers today in trade. Markets looking pretty strong on expiry week. However, before we start the show, we'd like to once again thank all of our viewers because it's yet another week where ET Now has emerged as the #1 business news channel in India with a thumping majority of 45% viewership. So thank you viewers for placing the faith on ET Now. Okay, well, back to the markets and steady gains. In fact, we're making a dash towards 11,800. Let's see if we'll be able to conquer that level. It's expiry day, of course, today. So we should be seeing a lot of interesting observations and lots of interesting movers and shakers as well. So to identify that, let's bring on board Soumya Sharma, on the research analyst, Kunal Bothra, our technical analyst, and today joining in on the show is Gaurav Bisa of LKP Securities. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. And let's start off first with the big result that was released yesterday. India Bulls Housing Finance gave out their Q4 numbers yesterday. It was a bit of a mixed bag. We had the consolidated profit, which declined about 7%, and the calculated NI as well was very muted, down by a little over 1% in the fourth quarter. But we do have Credit Suisse, which still maintained a buy stance, as they did say that they are comfortable on the liquidity situation when it comes to India Bulls Housing, but growth has taken a hit, as is evidenced in the NI number. Furthermore, CLSA does say that the merger with Lakshmi Vilas Bank and the banking license is going to be a key event and a key trigger for India Bulls Housing Finance going forward. So those are two observations by brokerages. Kunal, you flagged off Yes Bank, and yes, what a move witnessed in this one today. There's news as well that come in about, Ravneet Gill planning to replace the top management. But yeah, the gains over here continue.
So yes, Mubina, and we flagged off the stock even yesterday when the stock was at 232, 233 levels, mentioning that most of the price action seems to be finding some good support at this 230 range, and most of the indicators entered into the oversold territory. The stock was trading below its 50-day moving, 200 moving averages, but many of the indications suggested that the stock should hold on to that support and move up higher once again. So we've seen that rally happening for Yes Bank, up almost 6 or 7% from yesterday's low. So I believe that this move today, which you're seeing, should have more legs, and now the stock is on the verge of breaking its 200 moving average, where it was trading below it for quite some time. So that should be a very strong indication of a new trend in the making for Yes Bank. Would suggest a buy on the stock at current levels for a target of 265 and stoppers to be kept at 240.
Okay, so that's Yes Bank at the day's high, in fact, as we speak. However, what's declining and how in trade does Bharti Infratel top Nifty lose, Soumya, after the results?
Yes, in fact, it's losing the most on the Nifty index after it posted weak set of numbers. The revenue was merely up by over 1% and the EBITDA was down by over 6%, while the net profits cracked by over 6.23% to 608 crore rupees. Well, as far as numbers are concerned, the key takeaways for the quarter was the company had reduced its towers by 24 versus that were added in 178 during quarter 3. The co-locations also declined by 1,725, and the tenancy ratio stood at 1.88 times versus 1.89. In fact, the sharing tower revenue per month stood at 76,159 versus 75,775 in Q3. So in all, the company did not really post a very good set of numbers, and as a result is declining today in trade.
All right, so that's the view on Bharti Infratel. Gaurav, again, on the flip side, the top Nifty gainer today is Ultratech Cement. What a move. And this continuing after it delivered a great set of numbers yesterday. 6% higher now as we speak. Your view here?
Well, it has given a breakout from inverse shoulder pattern on daily charts. It's approaching the targets, its company target of that particular pattern. It's up by 550 odd points in last 3-4 days. I think this is the right time to book profits. Fresh trade should be already here.
On Ultratech, Gaurav is saying that now is a time maybe that you could consider just sort of booking profits. All right, moving on to the next story, and that is on Aurobindo Pharma. Novartis AG in a conference call has said that the sales of the generic business, which is set to be divested in, at $1.2 billion, in calendar year 2018. The core operating income of this business is at $294 million. Remember that this is important from Aurobindo's perspective because the company bought the divested generic business of Novartis last year for $900 million. So it looks like the numbers have been good for this divested business, and that's why you are seeing the rub-off effect on Aurobindo Pharma, which is higher by 3.7%. All right, Kunal, why are you flagging off NCC?
So the stock was into very strong momentum in the month of February and March. Then it slowed down. Stock consolidated. You saw the stock rallying till almost 116 from those 80 levels, and then it cooled off to sub 100. I think a couple of days back. But there seems to be a lot of demand when the stock tries to test this 100 level. We've seen that happening the last 2-3 days, where the stock tried to test this level. There was a marginal intraday break of that, but the stock managed to make a good comeback. On the hourly charts as well, there are some signs of bullish divergence for NCC. So I think all of that put together indicates that the stock has a strong support around this 100 mark, and this mild retracement should be over. The stock should be heading higher. 112 is the target on NCC. I would suggest a buy with stop loss closer to 99.
Okay, NCC 3% higher. Gaurav, when usually sugar stocks go up, there's that coordinated move in Praj Industries as well, and that's what we are witnessing today. So what would be your strategy here? Praj Industries, what's your strategy here?
Well, on very immediate charts, it has bounced back from 89 DMA and also the rising trend line support when it comes around 135, 137. That can be used as a stop loss, and one can buy at the current price. Immediate targets would be 160. The trend is strong. Breakout has been retraced and it has bounced back, so one can buy at the current prices.
Okay, it's a buy for Praj Industries from Gaurav. Soumya, how are the earnings for Syngene?
Well, talking about the overall earnings, the results were, in terms of top line, were in line, better in fact, but it did not really reflect that much when it comes to the bottom line. The PAT was up by 18% on a year-on-year basis, while sales were up by 30% and was above estimates. EBITDA margins also were slightly lower at 30% versus 31.6%. The core EBITDA margin increased by 40 basis points on a sequential basis, and the gross margins improved to 260 basis points on a sequential basis and 440 basis points on a year-on-year basis. So in all, the company's results were actually good, the decent set of numbers. The stock gaining by 2% today, higher by 2%.
All right, we'll take a very short break right here in the show. Come right back. We're going to continue with the countdown of the big movers and shakers. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's continue with the countdown then. And Vodafone Idea, the 25,000 crore rupee right issue, has actually been quite successful. On closure, it has actually exceeded. It has received more applications than what was offered in the rights issue. Kotak, in fact, who was the banker for the transaction, spoke exclusively to ET Now, first and exclusively to ET Now in our primetime show. And he said, Mr. S. Ramesh told me, Kunzalmia, that the telecom sector and the sort of faith that is being placed in Vodafone Idea's rights issue is proof that the telecom sector may be on the cusp of turning around if dynamics are in favor of the company, are in favor of the technicals, in favor of the sector as well. So important news for Vodafone Idea. However, the stock is still lower by 2.9%. But make no mistake, it certainly seems to be a very encouraging signal that the rights issue has been oversubscribed at this point. Let's go then across to Gaurav for Jubilant Foodworks. Gaurav, what a move seen in Jubilant. What would you make of this 2.5% uptick?
We can see some strong upside from the current levels. Right, it's trading in upper rising channel. Also, there's confluence of averages 89 and 200 may place at levels of 14 and 10. It has found a bullish ABCD harmonic pattern. It has got triggered around levels of 14 and 10, 13, 12. There's a lot of positives that we are seeing in the name, and it goes 14, 25, 14, 12, 74. On the upside, 1400 is what I expect in next week.
So that's a strategy coming in on a Jubilant Foodworks in trade today. To continue with the countdown then, Kunal, what are you observing in the Max Financial?
So, the stock is trading above its 200 moving average. There is a swing breakout on the daily charts, and when you look at this in terms of the volumes, the volumes in the last 4-5 days, or the average volumes in the last 4-5 days, have just about improved, and the stock has moved higher on the back of such improving volume. So I believe that this is a sign that Max Financial Services could break out of this big range consolidation. The stock is placed at 452 approximately. I believe as a short-term trade, you could look at a 475 target on Max Financial with a rest of buy with stop loss at 440.
Okay, so there you have it. That's Max Financial for you. Today, Soumya, sugar stocks are a buzz as we were flagging off earlier. What are you observing? Which is the stock that's really gaining?
Well, I think among the Nifty top 500 index gainers are all mostly the sugar stocks. Shree, Hirenuka, Bajaj Hindustan, Balrampur Chini. Talking particularly about Balrampur Chini, the stock has snapped a 3-day of losing momentum and is supported by robust traded volumes today. So it's gaining by over 3.8% today in trade.
Okay, so that's Balrampur Chini among the other sugar stocks that's gaining very smartly. M&M Finance has delivered its numbers, and again, it's been a good set because take a look at the way the profitability has surged. 87% rise on a year-on-year basis at 588 crore rupees, and the NI as well has jumped a decent 29% at 1310 crore rupees. The stock price, however, is at this point of time declining a tad bit in trade. Gaurav, IB real estate, we've seen a lot of pricing action come by in this stock price. Yesterday, there was a major surge in the stock despite the okayish numbers. There was that news which kept it active. And today as well, again, it's in the green. Your view here?
One, the stock is quite volatile. It tested the breakout levels, and again, we have seen the bounce 20%. I think it is the right time to operate. But I would not be able to get a fresh trade here for the current price.
Definitely, there's just a bit of glitch that's coming in your audio. So, okay, any which ways, I think we're out of time on the show. But again, for our viewers, I'll just reiterate Gaurav's view. He said you can book profits at the current levels because the stock has retested breakout levels and bounced. But I think we'll have to wrap it up anyway on this edition of the show. So Gaurav, thank you for joining in and sharing your technical strategies. Soumya and Kunal, to you as well. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.